Hello everyone, it's PuddyGeeks and I am back with another makeup tutorial. Today I'm going to be doing my Arkham Asylum Harley Quinn makeup that I've been doing for a while. As you can see, my t-shirt is ready to go. So as you can probably tell, this was filmed a while ago. I'm just a terrible YouTuber who can't get around to editing her own videos. Woo! Now, obviously you can tell from the fact that I look like Casper, but I've already done my base layer of makeup and my white face paint. You can actually find a video to this earlier on in the channel that I did on 3 different ways that you can achieve this white Harley look, but I'm using the third way at the moment, which is my absolute favourite. I just think it looks better and it's not quite as in your face, but obviously I'm still very, very pale. And I will actually leave a link for that tutorial in the description box for you in case you do want to have a look at that. Once you've done that, you can come back here and we'll begin on the next steps of getting the rest of this Harley makeup look done. Okay, so for this look we're actually starting with the eyes, and for this I'll be using my Urban Decay palette. I actually have 2 different Urban Decay palettes, both have different named colours of black, but to be honest both of them do the same job, either one would be fine. I would personally recommend Urban Decay because they are very pigmented, their blacks are very strong, very blendable, but really any black eyeshadow you have would do. If you can get one that's extra pigmented, that would definitely help with a look as strong as Harley. Although I clearly forgot to mention to actually do eye primer first. I'd already done it because I've already filmed one makeup video before starting this one. For this I'm using Soft Ochre. I'm not sure if that's how you say that, I'm a terrible person. I use this particular colour rather than a shimmery one because I can also use it on my nose, but I'll go over that in another video. For now you just want to basically cover your eyelids in eyeshadow primer, because obviously that would be the best thing for that job. I also do a little bit underneath the eyes and a little bit further out where the wing of my makeup would go, just to keep all of the black set in place. Okay, back to the eyeshadow. Now, basically, with Harley, you just want to go hard with big black panda eyes. I'm not going to lie to you, that's basically all it is. But if you want to follow this to get a rough idea of the kind of shape that I like to do for the eye makeup inside of my Harley mask, you can go ahead and watch this. You could build this up, blend it out, change the shape to whatever you want to be. This is just how I personally used to do it when I regularly cosplayed this version of Harley, and I felt like it worked quite nicely and it shaped my face and framed my eye shapes. Okay, next I'm going in with a bit of purple. This is just a cheap Rimmel one that I've had forever, but I like using it for these kind of looks because it's a very matte colour, it's not too warm, it's a good, cool, plain colour that you can use for blending out, and that's exactly what we're going to use it for. So I'm just taking a very fluffy brush and using this to go over the edges of the black just to soften them out so you don't have such a harsh effect. You can do this as much as or as little as you want, or not at all, but it's just something that I feel gives a good effect and leaves a good amount of texture to have a few more colours in there. Okay, next I'm going to line my waterline with a black eyeliner. As you can see, I've barely got any of this left from my teeny weeny little pencil I'm just about getting a grip on. And then we're going to follow that up by just doing our black liquid eyeliner. This one is from Kiko. It's just one of these like felt tip pen ones because I get along with those best. I would personally not recommend learning how to do liquid eyeliner from me because I am terrible at it. But I will, however, leave a clip of me doing it in here for as much as I'm on the screen for doing so, just so you can see what kind of shape we're going for or what kind of shape I do. Mainly just for inspiration if you want to change that up, or if you're better at eyeliner than me, then yeah, go ahead and do that better than I did. Okay, and this is where we should be at right now for eyes. This is vaguely what yours should be looking like if you're aiming to actually go for exactly what I've done. Okay, so next we're going to do eyebrows. Originally, I didn't actually used to fill in my eyebrows for this look because obviously they're inside the mask and the mask edge line is just above your eyebrows and your eye makeup goes up quite high. So I thought there really wasn't much point and that they would get lost in the shading of the mask anyway. But it was my own preference once I'd worn it a couple of times that actually doing that just made your eyebrows kind of disappear into it and you lose that little bit of shape around your eyes. So I do now choose to do my eyebrows. Obviously, Harley is supposed to be blonde, and I do usually change my hair colour for this. So I just use a couple of like beige and very light colours to try and lighten up my brows. I did used to use a white eye pencil first and then brush it through, so that's always an option if you really want to lighten up your brows. But I just kind of use this method to bring them to kind of a lighter brown rather than a black, and that's good enough for me. Okay, finally we're going on to the mask. Now, usually I would recommend using a skinny eye pencil for this, however, I couldn't find mine anywhere for this video, so I just used one of these push-up chunky eye pencils in white, and I scraped a bit out and was using it on a brush because that's the best I could come up with. So there are multiple ways of doing this, but I would definitely recommend just a regular white eye pencil for this. The reason you do this is that it's a lot easier to blend this out if you make mistakes and just rub it into your white face paint and it won't be seen, than it is using a grey or a black or anything else, because you can't just rub it in without it leaving some coloured residue. And obviously, if you face wipe it off, then you're taking off some of your white underneath and you have to keep topping that up, and you're going to end up with really weird, uneven patterns. So it's best to do it in a white. If I keep looking down, I'm just looking at my phone at the shape of the mask. But basically, we're just going to go around and gently kind of sketch in the shape of the mask and keep adjusting it to try and get it symmetrical, because that is actually the hardest part of the entire process. Me showing you my amazing solution? Clearly not that amazing. Would definitely have preferred to just have a pencil. This should be roughly where you're at now, shape-wise. Next, we're actually going to start going over it with some eyeliner. Now, what you want ideally for this is the gel type of eyeliner, the kind that comes in a pot. I used to use one from MAC, but I wasn't really satisfied with it for kind of eyeliner purposes, and I certainly wasn't going to pay the price for the pot again just for Harley makeup as much as I loved her. So I'm actually just using this little pot you see here, which I got for I think £1 on eBay for a whole pot, and it's lasted me absolutely ages through lots of Harley masks and any other kind of makeup that I would use gel eyeliner for. Now this gives a nice neat line, but gel is a little bit easier to control than liquid, and you don't have the transfer if you catch your finger on it as easily as you would with liquid. But honestly, you can use any kind of eyeliner that you would like. I just find that this leaves a nicer, cleaner line, and it's a lot more pigmented than using a pencil one. So I would say probably that's your best bet. Okay, once you are done with your thin little line over the top of your white ones, you're going to go back over with that same gel eyeliner, which is the reason I'm using this chunkier brush. It's got a good point on it and a good line so that you can leave a skinny line, but then obviously it's quite thick and it's nice for dragging down from the straight point. You go back over it and we're going to fill it in to be approximately a centimetre wide ideally, but it's entirely up to you how wide you want this to be. Basically, you're just going around the whole mask again, dragging it down to make it a little bit thicker, whatever that thickness is that you might want, using the same gel eyeliner you used for the initial line. It doesn't matter how neat the inside line of the mask is, because we'll be blending that out a bit later, but ideally you want to keep the outside line as smooth as you can. Obviously that's quite difficult to do on your own face, and you can go over this as many times as you want to get the right opacity to make it actually look like a mask. Okay, now we're on to shading. So we're going to get that trusty black up from our Urban Decay palette that we used earlier for our eyes. And we're just going to get a nice fluffy brush to fill that in. Now, first of all, you're going to want to do a relatively strong layer all the way along the inside of the mask, because it's better to start with a stronger layer. You can always blend it out later, but the ideal thing we want is for there to not be too obvious of a line between the eyeliner and the shading beginning. We want it to look like the mask is just naturally faded out, and then it's just natural shadow. Okay, next up we're going in with a quite a dark coloured matte grey colour. Now it's really important that you get a matte colour for this, because what you don't want is to be having a sparkle in something that's supposed to be a natural shadow. This is going to help to blend out even more the inside lines of that mask, so it doesn't look so much like the mask just stops dead near your eyes. And you're going to go again over the edges of where you did the black and kind of gently start blending it out. You can take this in as far as you want. You can have it come more in on your cheeks than it does above your eyebrows. You can really do whatever you want with this, but I will be taking it all the way around the edge and then extending it in anywhere that I think it needs to go a bit further. Okay, now as soon as I think there's enough grey, I'm going to change brush. As you can see here, I've now swapped to a round, fluffier, light brush with no product on it. And I'm going over the edges of this and just blending it out and softening it. Again, trying to get more of a natural shadow. What we really, really don't want in this look are any harsh lines other than the outsides of the mask. Okay, this is roughly what your mask should be looking at like at this point. This is a good time to go in and do any touch-ups that you feel necessary. So just before this clip, I did kind of clean up the little line across my nose, and now I'm using my eyeliner, my liquid felt tip eyeliner just to clean up some of these points because they can be quite tough to get pointy enough and to get, especially to get even. And you'll probably notice watching this back that they really are not even, even so. So I'm just using that to even those out. And then I'll also be using it to just do a couple of little dots on the bottom two, maybe on the top two if I feel like there's space, but they're the only places that I would intentionally put any dots. You can put them wherever you want or not have them at all. It really doesn't make much of a difference to the look. As I said, now is a really good time to do some touch-ups, so I'm going back in and just bringing in that top part of the mask between my eyebrows. Clearly, I just felt like there was too big a gap there and it needed some more shadow, so I just added a little bit more of the grey and then started blending it out again. You can do this at any point in the look, really. If you see something that just isn't quite looking how you want, you can always go back and adjust that shape whenever you feel necessary. Okay, and that is us done with the mask. Now we're going back in with that same gel eyeliner that we used for the edge of the mask and the same brush, and we're going to start on the lips. Now, this is an entirely optional part of the look. If you just want to have red lips, plain lips, or not do anything, that's perfectly fine. But I'm going to show you what I do just to give these kind of weird, elongated, kind of jester, kind of Joker themed lips that I just thought worked really well for this look. Currently, it does look like I'm giving myself a nice curly mustache, but I promise there is a point to this. So you want to start by using your black gel eyeliner just to go and give that shape. Now I'm starting by extending my lips a bit because I have very small lips. So I'm just adding to that top lip to make them look a bit fuller. But basically the point of this shape is to elongate your lips and to point it up into a little bit of a smile, because I just really like this kind of Joker jester feel of having the just pointed out lips, and it's a really subtle way of making it actually look like you've got these like freaky stretched lips, and I don't know, I just really like it. So you're basically just going around, I'm adding a bit to my top lip, I'm on my bottom lip, I'm just kind of going around just underneath the edge of my bottom lip, and then as you can see I'm doing a little point in the middle at the bottom, because I wanted to go again with these points and make it match with the mask. Okay, once you've finished shaping your lips with the black eyeliner, I'm just going to go in with a really bright red lipstick. Unfortunately, the only one I have is actually a shiny one, but I think a matte one would actually work better for this look. And what you're basically going to do is just try and fill in where your natural lips are. Don't go all the way to the edge of the eyeliner and don't go over in that little gap underneath your lip or right into the corners, because we're actually going to use something else to blend the two in that bit. So it's better if you can leave yourself a little bit of space to do that. Again, it's never too late to change something, so I've just gone back in with that eyeliner and I'm just extending those corners a little bit. Clearly I wasn't happy with how far out they'd come. You can choose to do this or not, but basically it's just on whether you're happy with the shape that you've drawn so far. Okay, and then I'm going to continue using my gel in a very minimal amount to just fill in around the edges. The reason I'm using gel is yet again because I find it easier to blend. Where it's got that creamy consistency, it'll blend really nicely in with your lipstick and you can gradually build it. So you're going over this with nowhere near the same amount you'd have used to edge around your mask, just a gentle amount, and then use that same brush to gently kind of blend into your lipstick, use it to darken the edges, change the colour as much as you like, and just keep going over it until you're happy with the end result. And that is my finished Harley look. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, leave us a like, a comment and a share. Let us know how you got along with following this, or better yet, send us a photo of you in the makeup. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.